the new Parkway Theater, where good food, diverse entertainment, and community create a place for everyone. For showtimes and special events, check out www.thenewparkway.com.
You are listening to High School 510, where sports and comedy regain some culture.
But yeah, I think the idea of adding an NBA Hall of Fame is interesting, right? Because they've been so lax.
And the Airbud should definitely be in there.
Yeah, let's go first circle on Airbud here.
Airbud. Hey, I'm telling you, with Jimmy from Hoosiers.
What about Richmond High's Coach Carter? Why is he not in there?
Hey, you got
not Coach Carter, just Samuel Jackson.
We got to keep it local. We're 5-0, man. That's Richmond High right there.
Yeah, Samuel Jackson dressed as Coach Carter.
Dwayne Martin from Down Periscope, and also my boy Leon playing Shep in Above the Rim.
Leon should be in the Hall of Fame for Above the Rim for making so many baskets without a ball.
He was shadow boxing in basketball, dude. He was smooth. This fool about to really
that
ball.
That was a long scene. I remember he had no ball, and he was just dribbling and doing all these moves and shooting.
Yeah.
Also put Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes in there.
Dude, I tried to do that in high school to see if that would enhance my game. It didn't work.
I usually don't get animated, Jarrett.
Yeah, he doesn't need that.
Yeah,
I'm never
talking about the Hall of
animated.
Fame.
We're just talking about Lakers in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Hey, don't worry, Aaron will start
We
screaming
won't
at
get
some
animated
point.
until we start talking about Draymond Green,
It'll
the
sound
greatest player all time.
Aaron gets animated. It sounds like somebody grabbed Drake by his nuts.
Drake?
Drake!
This is whack. Is Twitter back on yet, Jarrett?
No, we have another couple days before we're back on Twitters.
Jared got banned from Twitter.
I didn't listen to me. No. We got banned, Aaron. Take ownership.
Banned from Twitter
we got
again.
banned from Twitter. Our podcast Twitter account got suspended for 7 days due to hate speech. They said it was hate and abusive speech, and I was like, this is not hate and abusive. All I did was make a joke about how Drake in an old photo looked like Eddie Munster, right? But on top of that, I prefaced it by calling him High Yellow.
Yeah, I was like,
and apparently somebody thought that was offensive. So let's do a quick poll. Hey, all our listeners out there, all 17 of you, please hit us up and let us know if you think it was offensive calling Drake High Yellow. Is that offensive? Is that racist? Is that abusive? As an African-American person to another African-American person, context is important. Always. Right, Cameron?
Definitely.
See, if Cameron had called him High Yellow, that might be a little more problematic.
Well, we don't have a picture up on it, Jared. It ain't like they can determine who or who we are.
They know.
Yeah.
We have it on our page. It says Black Podcasters. So they,
It's not like they gonna go through it. And Drake has a lot of influence. He has a lot of Twitter followers.
I think it was
that's a hot button issue for Drake.
I think it's one of Drake's fans who are like trying to be defensive of him because he's a sucker and soft as hell.
We should try and get Drake on the podcast.
Yeah, shout out to Drake. Come on our show. Sponsorship. We'd love to talk to you. We'd love to be able to call you High Yellow to your face.
Wouldn't have to change his levels.
Raptor and
His
Basketball.
mic levels.
Yeah, I think it would be difficult to tell who's talking. Like, is this Aaron or Drake talking right now?
Both sound horrible.
You have to say Drake talking.
Introduce yourself every time.
Aaron, we have to say over every time we're done. Aaron, over. Your turn now, Drake.
I'm just morally against it, but if I had my old team was the Niners.
Did you grow up morally against it or recently?
No, last few.
Todd likes to go anti. If a lot of people are into something, then Todd's gonna pick the other side.
Well,
like Harry Potter.
The head
You
injury.
missed out on that, bro.
He's like, nah.
It was a good time. Harry Potter was a good time.
Harry Potter, nah.
I never read or seen the books or read the movies.
I was hold on, stop.
God damn it.
I never read the movies either.
Cameron, if you don't know
But
what
they could play subtitles.
Cameron, if you don't know what subtitles. I read the movies. Yes, I'm sir.
Only watch French dramas.
So Cameron, we're giving Aaron a magic moment right now. If you don't know what a magic moment is, it's basically where Aaron misspeaks or says something that is not quite coherent. It's similar to the ways
throw a flag on it.
Similar to the ways of Magic Johnson when he speaks on Twitter or anywhere, just in general. Sometimes even Emmitt Smith has the same issues. But when you hear this sound,
this magic moment.
Beautiful.
When you hear that sound, that is us giving Aaron a magic moment for misspeaking.
Only Aaron?
Anybody else can get it, but he's.
like he just
It
gets
started with him.
It's reserved.
It started with him because it's called a magic moment because he's a big fan of Magic Johnson. It's one of his favorite athletes of all time, and
Makes sense.
they speak similarly sometimes. And so we give Aaron magic moments. And you can get it. Like if he calls me on one and I say something that's actually like really like bad, I can get a magic moment too. Anybody can get.
himself
I've
But
given.
Jarrett has a really low bar, yeah?
Yeah.
He has. Yeah, exactly. He's had several times where he should have had it at least
Feed
4
it, fat
times.
it. Oh. So Aaron, you get a.
This magic moment.
I
I've
don't.
never seen the Harry Potter movies.
And you've never.
He's going to clean it up for you.
Never read the books, Jared. Is that better?
I think you've done yourself well. You've done yourself
Same here.
well. Cameron, how you doing with that lighting right there? You good?
It's a nice spotlight I got on my face here. Yeah.
You kind of look, Cameron. You kind of looking like what's his name from Twilight, with the light hitting you off your face like that.
Edward?
Yeah, are you
Edward.
Team Edward?
Team
Yeah,
Edward?
Team Edward.
You can't be Team Edward because you even know who he was,
No,
Jared.
actually, I was actually
He was
rooting for.
Team Jacob.
I was rooting for the Native Americans.
Yeah.
Shout out
that sounds
sponsorship.
likely.
I was rooting for the brothers and the natives. That's what I got to do.
We were watching Cheaper by the Dozen 2 with my 7-year-old daughter.
I love that movie.
And there was Jacob.
Yeah, yeah.
He's one of the
He was
kids.
one of the guys who
Jesus.
came over to
the rival family.
the rival family. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good. It was. Yeah, I like that movie. That movie was really good.
Better than number 1, I think.
I think it was too.
Was that the Steve Martin movie?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I
Steve
hate
Martin.
Steve Martin.
And,
I don't like Steve Martin that much. Shout out
what's the girl?
sponsorship.
Hillary something?
Hillary Swank.
No, Fonda?
Hillary
No.
Duff.
No, Hillary Duff.
Hillary Duff is in there. I
Hillary-
thought you were going for the mom.
No,
Yeah,
Hillary
Hillary
Duff
Duff's
was one
in
of the
there.
daughters, the
Yeah.
third oldest.
Hillary Duff was a lot cuter until she got her fake LA,
Who was the
General
oldest daughter?
teeth.
The oldest daughter was really cute too. She ended up having a baby in
She's
part
like
two.
Piper.
Piper Pirabo.
There you go.
Was she the one from Even Stevens?
This is great conversation.
And then it had the one that
Hey,
danced.
shout out
the
to
girl that was in
Disney
all the Missy Elliott videos. She was the rough, sporty daughter.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
I love watching those old school movies. You're like, oh, yeah, I know that person.
those
They
are
grew
the
up.
great movies.
They became
Yeah.
way more famous after they played in this shitty movie.
Exactly. Exactly.
They were way more talented than playing in this shitty movie. Or hey, what happened to them? They were in that shitty movie. I always love doing that.
Well, it's like Lindsay Lohan in Parent Trap. Like, so good, right? What happened to her?
Yeah, that was a
She
good
went to
movie.
Mean Girls, and then she,
Yeah.
and then she went on.
Ruined
To,
it.
she moved on from there, and then she moved on to Kids as her life. No, she went on to Requiem for a Dream as her lifestyle after that. She's like, I'm gonna star in Requiem for a Dream 24/7. That was a depressing ass movie.
I haven't watched it.
You haven't watched it?
I have it on my phone though. I just haven't watched it. I bought it for like $4.
Wait, how you gonna buy a movie and then not watch it?
Because it's only $4 on iTunes. It was one of my recent purchases.
You got ripped off.
Yeah,
I heard it was good. I heard
Requiem
good
for a
things.
Dream. Like Aaron, you can go spend $4.99 on heroin and have the same experience. Probably
Then
nicer.
the movie was good. Then
No,
I don't have to develop
heroin's
an addiction.
heroin's probably nicer.
I don't have to develop an addiction. I could see. I heard Sean Wayne.
How much
Marlon
can you
Wayans
get
was
for
good.
$4.99 though?
Shout
That's
out
the real
to
question.
Aaron, sponsorship.
Jennifer Connelly. I heard Marlon Wayans was really good in it.
Yeah.
And Jared Leto, he's good.
Fuck Jared Leto. That was Jared Leto. Fuck that dude. Can't stand him. He ruined Suicide Squad for sure.
Was that going to be a good movie without him?
You told me to buy it.
I know I did tell you about it. I should have told you about it.
Yeah, that's not the worst
how you-
advice ever.
That's how you know it's a good movie, Jared. Like
Jared's like, hey, you should get it. It's good in the beginning. It's good in the beginning. He did. I'll be honest. He did give me his review was spot on. It's good in the beginning.
It starts off intriguing.
Starts off really interesting. And about the halfway point,
ruin
it
it.
changes.
You're like, fuck.
But you know, DC made it, right?
It's like Pac
DC
Camino.
don't make good movies right now.
DC doesn't make good movies,
Unfortunately.
and the director is the same director who directed Bright. So Jared Leto, his imitation of Joker, that fake ass acting he did as Joker, was like literally the same thing Dave Chappelle did when he played Tiger Woods in the racial draft. Like it's the same voice. He's like, click equation, Jared Leto's like the same voice. He's like, hey, I want to just, I like you.
It was
Margot
hard. He was
Robbie."
following Heath Ledger.
He's following Heath Ledger, but he overdid. Dude, Will Smith said he's a fucking freak. He hates Jared Leto because of the way he acted on set and the fact that he wasn't a good Joker.
Maybe he's in a method act. I mean, Will Smith can't. If that's the reason to hate somebody because he wasn't good in a role.
You guys never heard the story? They said
once I saw After Earth, then there's a lot of people
that
hate.
was bad. Well, he said Jared Leto was sending like used condoms to people's trailers and like sending like dead rats to people's trailers and shit.
Well,
I think he was just trying to get in the role, you know?
Yeah, he's a method actor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but You're the Joker, and you're like the 5th actor in this movie. Just chill the fuck out. Jared Leto, you're not that good an actor, anyways.
No, he's a good actor. He has an Oscar.
For what?
An Academy Award.
What, the Dallas Buyers Club or
Yep,
something like that? Yeah, because
exactly.
that's a depressing ass movie about white people dying from AIDS. That's why you're gonna win that award. You play a retard or you play somebody dying off AIDS and drugs.
Because if you go full, you don't win anything. Jared.
Well, he didn't go full. He went full in Suicide Squad. He's not a good actor.
Went full retard.
Whatchamacallit does method acting.
Who?
What's the movie he was in? The movie with DiCaprio, Gangs of New York.
Oh, yeah.
He's
He has
also
3
Abraham
names. He has
Lincoln.
3 names.
It's not Billy Bob, is it?
No,
he
he's
has
also
3 names.
Abraham Lincoln in the Lincoln movie.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
No, come on,
Jesus,
this is like
oh,
considered
wow.
one of the greatest actors.
I don't know who
Yeah.
it is.
You don't know? Cameron only watches children's movies. He's like, I don't know what the fuck that is.
Can we get back to Disney here?
Like, you go to Disney and Nickelodeon, I'm good.
Billy Ray. Sorry.
No,
No,
it
I
was
can't believe I'm now upset.
Now Todd's just
Daniel
saying.
Day-Lewis.
Daniel Day-Lewis, yeah.
He's good.
Daniel Day-Lewis is a little overrated in my book, but he's good. He's way better than Jared Leto.
Did
He's
you tell
way-
me?
No, I said he's a
where's the
little
bar?
overrated. I said he's
Where's
a little
the bar
overrated.
then? I need to know where's the bar at.
He's won multiple Academy Awards.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
no,
a great actor.
Daniel
so-
Day-Lewis is good. I give him that. But then
Bill
he
the
made
Butcher.
he made a movie about being an overly controlling tailor, and people were like, "This is gonna be a great movie," and
Wait,
then it
what
like
movie
didn't
is
do
he taking?
anything.
He's a butcher.
No, there's a movie where he's a tailor.
Oh yeah, that's that movie.
Tinker
Yeah.
Tailor, Soldier
Tinker.
Spy.
No, it was the one that just came out last year, where he was playing this character who got into his clothing, and and the way he controlled was how he controlled his relationship too. It was bad.
It was a terrible movie, and they're like, Daniel Day-Lewis is in it. I was like, I don't give a fuck about this fool. Who wants to learn about a
There
fucking
will be
tailor?
blood. That's what I was thinking about.
There will be
That
blood.
was a good movie.
Yeah, Daniel Day-Lewis is a good actor. I'm not saying he's not a good actor. Jared Leto is not a good actor. That's what I'm saying. He's not a good actor. He's never been a good actor. Matthew McConaughey is a better actor, and he plays the same character in every movie.
The Jared Leto.
Yes, and he plays the same character in every movie. That's how bad Jared Leto
I
is.
think he just knows his role really well.
Yeah, he's like, all right,
Stay in your lane.
just gonna play. I can just sit here and cut up a beer can, be the same character that I was in that one movie, Dazed and Confused.
The best thing about high school chicks.
high school chicks, and now
Yeah, that's
And now-
the greatest line ever.
and now I'm chain smoking in a detective's office, talking
Why
about
change if it works?
murders in the bayou.
He's doing commercials in the same exact character.
and
Same exact character.
Who was it? My
While
brother
listening
was
to
like,
Gary Clark music.
my brother was like talking about. There was people talking about like, is he just rolling a booger the whole time?
Yeah,
Like,
when he said, yeah, when he says the song.
just
Did
rolling
you,
a
see,
booger.
did you see the parody, the SNL parody where Jim Carrey
Yeah.
does
Jim
that?
Carrey did it. It's really
I saw a
good.
bit of
didn't
it.
see
Yeah,
that.
Yeah,
That's
it's
pretty
good.
good.
yeah, it's crazy.
Making fun of the Chrysler ads or whatever it is.
Yeah, the guys.
Speaking of somebody who turned into an actor, right? Jim Carrey.
Hey, for real
He's
though,
good.
for real though, Jared Leto shit. Shout out sponsorship.
Should we
Come
get
on our
back-
show.
should we
Has
get
Jim Carrey ever played the Joker?
We should
He would be a
have.
good Joker.
He would be a
Crazy.
type
Well, no,
C.
he
Yeah.
played the Riddler.
He played
in those
Riddler.
shitty ass
Riddler,
the
the
Val
Schumacher
Kilmer. I could see if you
That's
took
right.
it seriously and tried to be like,
Yeah.
not what people would think of stereotype Jim Carrey Joker, but
Right.
He
almost
could
more
really
creepy
get dark.
serious.
Yeah,
Get dark.
yeah.
He'd be
He
good.
could do that. Yeah. Well, see, the thing is, what
'Cause you know
are-
there's gonna be another Joker.
you know what I would
movie.
pay for? I would pay to see Jim Carrey playing Jared Leto as the Joker. That would be a good role, like for sure. For
Off
sure.
Broadway.
Off Broadway musical. Hey, Jared Leto, I heard you
Like in
also
New
did.
Jersey.
Jared Leto,
Yeah, that off. Hoboken. That far off. He is not that bad.
I just want to free your mind. He's so
He
bad,
didn't
dude.
have anything to work with in that movie.
What are
Jared.
you talking about? He had everything to work with. They cut out 90% of his scenes because he was bad.
Yeah.
It was
He was
fine.
getting Prefontaine.
Bro, stop trying to defend Jared Leto. He's
That was the
so
HBO
bad.
movie. It was good, though.
Hey, so he tried to get the Joker movie shut down because he was mad that they greenlit Joaquin
Without him?
Phoenix to be the Joker instead of him because he was like, I'm going to do Suicide Squad and do such a good job. They're going to want me to do other
right.
movies. And they're like, never mind, we're going a new direction.
He was in Lord of War. He was good in that.
He was good in that. He was good in that.
Yeah, he was really good, Jared.
Yeah, right. Hey, shout out to Jared Leto. You're a hater, but come on our show. He literally tried to go through his agent to get it shut down or try and like stop it so that he could get the role or like stop the project altogether and change the project.
Sounds reasonable to me.
Sounds like a douchebag who's not a good actor thinking he's better than what he is because people keep thinking he's good at shitty roles. Shout out to Jared Leto. If you acted,
Sound angry about it.
if you acted as well as we produced this podcast, you would actually be credible. Yeah, no, actually, maybe not. But anyways, shout out sponsorship. Should we get ready to start the show?
We haven't started yet?
Cameron, I need a letter.
S?
Something you do like Jesus did and said, well, tell me what the subject is. I'll write you a letter.
He's like, how about you write it and I'll sign it.
Most letters I ever asked for.
All right. Soliloquies, subservient, salads, sambos, Shaka Khan. Shaka Khan.
That's a C.
Splendiferous, smoking,
I don't know if that's a real word.
Sinaloas. Spleef life.
Cartel.
Spleef life. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to the High Score 510 podcast. You can catch us on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, and any other streaming podcast platform you can think of. You can also engage with us on Twitter, Instagram, and on YouTube at High Score 510. And feel free to check us out at highscore510.com. We're still working on the website, but we have all our episodes there also. So if your platform is down, just go on our website and stream from there. We are here with...
This is Aaron Grayson III, a.k.a. AG3, coming at you like Colleen Conway. That's because I've been working with the Trump administration trying to get a wall built. But my wall's in San Francisco to keep hipsters and people with thick beards and checkered shirts out.
It's a good thing you came, boy.
Yeah, because I heard you screaming all the way down there.
I wasn't screaming. All right?
Yes, you were.
I said I wasn't screaming. I was whistling.
You was what?
I was whistling for you.
You was whistling. Will he help get this bitch off of me?
That's actually a good movie. I'm glad you gave me a good movie.
That is a tight movie. Shout out to I'm Gonna Get You Sucker sponsorship. Come on our show. And we are here with...
Cameron Parkinson.
That it?
That's it.
Okay.
That's me. I'm here for you, Jarrett.
Hit the button, Jarrett.
All right. I think I got one
Caught
for
him
you.
off guard.
I know. It's so quick.
I'm ready. I'm ready to get into the meat. Meat and potatoes. It's turkey season.
Ooh, not pumpkin spice season, turkey season. I like that.
I have been having a very bad day. Just got out of jail this morning. Already I have been shot at. I was on the bus that flipped over 17 times. A bitch tried to stab me in the bathroom. And somebody blew up my Porsche. I am in a bad goddamn mood.
And we are also here with...
Todd Wagner, a.k.a. TW, a.k.a. Jarrett's better side, better half. Happy to be back. Yeah, thank you, Aaron.
I would tell you to kiss my ass too, but you probably can't find it, you blind motherfucker.
That's right.
And my name is Jarrett, a.k.a. DJarTT. The D is silent, so it's just Jart. And it comes with 2 T's for a double dose of that tink tink.
Mr. Cosby's doing great, and Mr. Cosby knows that God is watching over him. He knows that these are lies. They persecuted Jesus, and look what happened.
I'm happy you played that soundbite for Todd from another 48 Hours. It forced me to look at the movie because I own 48 Hours, and another 48 Hours is actually under $4 to purchase. That was cheaper than Requiem for a Dream.
Todd has lit some candles, and I feel like we're gonna, do like a little spiritual seance or like pull out a Ouija board right now. There's a bunch of tea candles out here.
It's either that or we'd be in the dark.
It's either that I don't know who's next to me.
Daylight savings.
Since Jarrett set up the daylight savings tent.
It sets up the mood real nicely, I have to say.
Definitely does. I just worry that, we might start a fire, but
We'll keep an eye on it.
we can spark that J.
All that hard alcohol over there.
Anyways, well, let's get to our subjects. So we're joined by Cameron and Todd. Cameron, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, hey, thanks for having me on the show. I'm excited to be here, and
Thank you for coming.
I've lived in the East Bay my whole life, and I'm actually a very unusual A's fan and Niners fan. When I grew up around here picking my teams, the Raiders were in Los Angeles, so I knew of them as the LA Traders. They moved back, and everyone was so happy, and I was like, nope, they're Traders, and look what happened. There they are going again. I'm a Warriors fan, and I've always loved watching the D-League Warriors, and they're back, so I'm excited about that. The last 5 years were tough, so we're back to being terrible again, so it feels good. Feels more right.
A little nostalgia in there.
Yeah,
It does feel right.
8 healthy bodies, Kai Bowman striping threes. Like, it just feels, Like, I just can't wait for Anthony Tolliver to come back on the team, you know?
Look, can we no. I want the custodian. I want Brian Cardinal.
Cardinal was good, man. He was too good for some of those teams.
Oh, my God. Brian Cardinal was so bad.
My favorite player ever played for Warriors. Or Boykins, right?
Boykins, man. 5'5".
Boykins and Keith Mr.
So
Jennings.
good.
Okay.
And Eric Musselman was one of my favorite coaches.
Eric Musselman knew how to alienate your best player, as in Gilbert Arenas. Good job, Eric Musselman. Eat a dick. Shout out sponsorship.
Gilbert Arenas was crazy.
He might have alienated himself.
Yeah. Like
Agent Zero?
You know what's crazy? He's on like a lot of podcasts and different shows now. He's been coming out. I know, but he's been going on a lot of other people like ESPN. Like now it's okay to have Gilbert Arenas. He's far enough from the gun and that he could come on the show and laugh. Like he was on a show with, what's her name? Rachel?
Dolezal?
No.
Rachel
Nichols, and they were and Richard Jefferson, and they were talking about like their time together, and then he talked about the gun incident and how it was like a frat house. And Gilbert Arenas talked so much shit about Richard Jefferson. He's like, man, he got drafted for me just because he was athletic and taller.
Yeah.
He's like, he knew I was the better player.
Well, that was the funny part. He always remembered that, and that was like something that like kind of stuck
But I
with
think
him.
had Arenas been drafted in today's NBA, he would be drafted way higher because an undersized 2 is no problem. I mean, like a scoring guard, scoring point guard who doesn't pass.
Yeah.
People are all over that now.
They don't mind it as much. Yeah. The game has changed in that way.
You want to know the 2001
died recently.
NBA draft?
Yeah. Let's go over that real quick.
Number 1, Kwame Brown, first pick.
So good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tyson Chandler 2, Pau Gasol 3, then Eddie Curry.
And the Warriors got Jay Rich at that.
Battier, Eddie Griffin.
Yeah.
Dasanya Diop.
Sagana Blowjob.
Joe Johnson, Kendrick Brown, Radmanovich, Richard Jefferson was 13th overall.
Yeah.
Troy Murphy.
Yeah, Troy Murphy.
Great pick. That was a great pick.
That was a great pick if they hadn't tried to turn him into a goddamn square-ass power forward.
But that was a Pacers pick, yeah?
No. He went to the Pacers after he was with the Warriors. The Warriors drafted him.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That was a great pick.
From Indiana Warriors. It was like a trade, yeah.
Oh, whenever.
Stephen Hunter, Kirk Haston, Michael Bradley, Jason Collins, Zach Randolph. There's your steal.
Wow,
Yeah, that was a steal too.
Brandon Hayward, Joseph Forte. NBA drafted so many people you should never hear of.
I thought
So
Joe Forte
many
was going to pan out.
So then you got 30th was Hassel, and then 31st overall, Gilbert Arenas.
Yeah. Oh, 31, so not that far in the second round.
To the Warriors. And then Omar Cooks, Will Solomon, Brian Scalabrine.
So good.
There's only 2 rounds left. So once you get into the 20s, that's like the 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds of the NFL draft.
But back then, the draft was a little deeper still. Because even though some of those didn't pan out, like Joe Forte, they at least had good college careers.
Yeah.
But now it's just like you get a guy that averaged 9 points in college. And like, who was the guy that New Orleans drafted out of Jackson?
Jackson Hayes?
Jackson Hayes.
Yeah.
And it's like, but he's athletic, this and that. Like, at least then you saw that they were productive.
You're just taking a guess on the guy.
Yeah.
Totally.
Now you're guessing, but
they're like, he showed flashes.
That was a pretty bad draft, 2001 draft.
2001 was good for the Warriors. They got 3 good players.
Jay Rich.
Because I remember that squad.
It was good for the Warriors.
They went
Joe Arenas and Jay Rich.
They played
Troy Murphy.
That's
when they started coming on again.
They did the rookies versus sophomores game, and then in each year they scraped the 3 of them just like beasted on everybody as rookies and then as sophomores.
But probably your best
he was
player.
on that second-year contract. He was on a second-round contract.
Best player in that draft, probably Pau Gasol.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone
overall.
agrees.
Yeah,
Tony Parker's pretty good at 28.
Yeah.
Tony Parker's overrated.
Is Tony Parker a Hall of Famer?
He's like the Derek Jeter.
Since we're in the Hall of Fame
Todd
category?
hates Tony Parker.
Tony Parker is
I'm with Todd on that one. I don't hate him, but I think he's overrated. He's part of a great team.
I don't think he's rated crazy high. Do you think he's rated crazy high?
People are talking about him like he's a Hall of Famer, and he was never, ever one of the best point guard. He was in that same kind of like...
Well, he was never the best player on his own team.
No.
Exactly, but he was just like the Jeter conversation. He was in the same, who's the best point guard in the NBA? Chris Paul, Tony Parker, or...
at least Jeter played every game.
Who's the other point guard that was always in those conversations? He was a little bit bigger.
He was in the West or East?
Derek Fisher?
No. He was always injured too.
Any team, any hints here?
I'm trying to
I don't know who you're going for.
He was bigger. He put up...
I mean, there was Kidd, there was Nash.
No, this is after. This is when he was Tony Parker in his prime.
Tony Parker had a prime? I thought Tony Parker's prime was sleeping with other men's wives.
Teammates' wives.
He's in the Hall of Fame with Derek Fisher for sleeping.
He's in the Derek Fisher Hall of Fame.
We need to compile a Derek Fisher Hall of Fame, y'all. I think that's the next evolution.
Darren Williams.
Darren Williams.
I did. I got it.
Darren Williams.
Yeah, he fell off.
He fell off
was
hard
so
too.
good. He was really good when he was good.
He was, and
Well,
Tony
'cause
Parker was always like the Derek Jeter. He was never the best one
He
of
was
those
never
guys,
better
but he
than
kept
none of those,
playing
yeah.
and kept playing and being fine. And they won another
But he was
championship.
exactly what the Spurs needed.
Yeah, same with
The
Derek
Spurs
Jeter.
was great at building
And
a
Ginobili,
team.
too. Like, those were late round picks. That
Derek
just
Jeter is
fit
much better than
perfectly.
Tony
This is part of my
Yeah, I
argument.
agree.
I had an argument
Totally.
that Tim Duncan,
Ginobili.
while being a great player, is not like in the top 10. And I said he was just the ultimate teammate and a good winner. But can you tell me, is there a Tim Duncan moment that defines him? Like other players have moments in big games. Like he was around those moments, right? When Ginobili hit the shot.
He didn't
or blocked
have
the
that
shot.
dominant presence.
He never
was
had
just
a dominant
Mr.
season either.
Fundamental.
He was consistent.
I think in
Everything.
college when he was on Wake Forest, right?
Yeah, he was on Wake
That's
Forest.
that's as far as that
That's the
moment.
most
I think of him
dominant
back
he
to
ever
college.
was.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think his value was more in his relationship with Popovich than
was.
anything, and the fact that Popovich was allowed to yell at one of the best players in the league and set the tone for everybody else
Yeah,
and
everyone
set
else
up
fell
that
in line.
entire system. And it showed in 22 years of 50 wins or whatever.
Oh, no,
It's
yeah,
ridiculous.
it's ridiculous. He
And
was
a lot
one
of
of the-
that's because of Tim Duncan.
So my argument then is we're gonna say like Tim Duncan, like his value, you put it on like a Russell level, right? Like a Bill Russell level.
Yeah, I think that's a great comparison, actually.
Yeah, like where it was like, and that's why I say he's a great player.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's top 10 because he just never.
And I would go along with
had a
that.
dominant-
I'm okay with him not being in the top
I got
10.
an argument with someone this week that was telling me Tim Duncan
Well,
was like
Yeah, I would
underrated.
say
like
he's
he
in the
could be in
teens.
the top 5. And
I would
was
say
like,
he's in the
what?
teens.
Well, I'll say this. It's frustrating to try and put people in the top 10, top 5, whatever, because the game is still going. The game is not over. So, like, if there's no more basketball, NBA is done, it's easy to, like, solidly argue your point. The top
Forever.
50 players book, I got that when it came out, like, in, like, 96, right? And
That
I
was a
like,
great book.
It was a good
It was
book.
top- yeah.
But I'm like,
That was Slam
but I
magazine.
always was like, hey, man, like, what happens, like, these guys in the 40s, like, if there's really good players that are coming up ahead right now? Like,
So
there's-
you like to just compare them to their era then?
I think comparing to their era, comparing
That's
to the
smart.
time they played,
That is
were they a
smart.
top 10 player? That's the best way to like
I don't
equate
enjoy.
it.
I don't enjoy that debate line. You got to just go for it and say who you think right
But
now,
some people-
and then you do it again in 10 years or something.
Yeah.
Like
I'm
I
gonna
stand
tell you-
by. I would stand by that. Like if 10 years ago I said LeBron James wasn't a top 10 player, he wasn't. Now he is.
Now he is. But so to
I'm
your
okay with
argument,
that.
with that, so you're okay with Jerry Weiss? Like someone like Bill Simmons the other day on his podcast was arguing. He said he had his, he has this little tier list,
Yeah.
and he has Jerry West below Kobe. And he said now that he really put a lot of thought into it, he's like, I think I want to move Jerry West higher.
Right. Well, that's where the issue is if I'm a 36-year-old talking about Jerry West, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I don't either.
Because I didn't see him.
I didn't see him either, but
so
he-
that's the real issue is
Yeah.
we have a lot of recency bias. There's no doubt about that.
Well, that's why he kept bringing up like the fact that he won MVP off of losing, of a team losing in the finals.
Jesus.
And they made a logo off of. Hey, Jarrett, does that sound? did you peak? No, thank you.
Can we sound check that
Did you
cough,
peak
please?
your- yeah, did you peak that as your high?
Oh, I
you
didn't
get the
peek
mic check?
because I know how to cough away from the mic.
He just didn't like we were talking about white basketball
He didn't
players.
like-
Hey,
That's
hey.
what I'm saying, man.
All
Jerry
right,
West,
all
Larry
right,
Bird.
let's. So we talking about Hall of Fame.
Aaron brought notes today.
So Aaron wants to get into Hall of Fame standards for NBA and how we rank our best players in the NBA. So, how do we rank the best players in the NBA historically? Is the Basketball Hall of Fame a good standard of that? What are the standards of the NBA Hall of Fame, Aaron?
Breathing.
There are none. That's the problem.
Breathing and being able to dribble at one point in your life, and then you can make the Basketball Hall of Fame. That's the only standards right now.
Hey, I still give the Basketball Hall of Fame some credit because they did not put in a fictional character into their Hall of Fame like boxing did.
That was about the importance of it. To me, putting Rocky in the Boxing Hall of Fame is almost on the same level of putting basketball.
No. You can't say that. You might as well I'd be like, all right, if you want to put in Jimmy from Hoosiers, like for sure, he
Might as well
gets to
put in
go
Jim-
in.
I
Why
bet
don't
you
you put in
Jesus
Air Bud
Sherwood.
1, 2, and 3 then too? Let's throw them all in there.
Dude,
Like,
Airbud should definitely be in there now that I think about it.
bruh, hey, double team them two cute, tall white women that was playing on that Disney movie playing basketball. They deserve to be in the Basketball Hall of Fame too.
What's that girl Bunny's name in Space Jam? She was pretty good though.
Oh yeah, Lola Bunny or whatever.
Lola?
I never saw Space Jam.
Oh,
Sorry.
no.
See, yeah.
I was 18 when it came out.
Oh, Aaron was
19.
too.
You're
He's
too
too
cool?
old.
I was
to-
too
I
cool?
was
yeah,
too old. I was
he's-
turning 19. I think I was 19.
You
when
better
it
check
came
how
out.
much that costs.
It was my
49. You
first
better
year
buy
college.
Yeah,
that.
you might want to buy
You
that.
better
on
buy that.
Wait, it's not on Disney Plus?
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Pretty sure that's
I think
WB.
it's Warner Brothers.
What was Airbud's Bill James score?
I like the fact that it is encompassing like what you meant for the game of basketball. So like Oscar Schmidt being in from Brazil, he was like probably the all-time greatest international scorer back in the day. I'm glad people like him are in, Cynthia Cooper, Lisa Leslie, but then I think it should be a separate like NBA Hall of Fame.
The best of the best.
The best of the best. This is what we're getting down to. Who's the best of the best that played in the NBA Hall of Fame? Because there's some questionable people in there right now.
Mm-hmm.
Mitch Richmond's in. I think Chris Mullin's a Hall of Fame, but for some reason some people think
Chris Mullin's definitely Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Ralph Sampson made in when he had like 2 good years. Bill Bradley's in.
Your buddy Christian Laettner, right?
Yeah, Christian Laettner's in.
Mm-hmm.
That's enough said. That's enough to have you upset that Christian Laettner.
Shout out to Duke's sponsorship.
But I think that's the tricky thing with the Basketball Hall of Fame is it's not an NBA Hall of Fame.
No,
it isn't.
Dikembe Mutombo's in.
He
and it's like, what did he do?
He's an ambassador for Africa. I mean, it's like...
Yeah.
And he was the best defensive player for several years in the league.
I'm not even sure about that.
He just blocks some shots.
What?
He's got a good catchphrase. No.
Not today. No, he was one of the best. Well, he's like notoriously one of the craziest voices in all of sports, and was one of the best defensive players in the league for a decade.
Alonzo Mourning's in the Basketball Hall of Fame.
I could see Alonzo Mourning being there in some ways.
Zoe was good.
Zoe was really good, and he was derailed by
his
his medical issue, his heart.
He was, it was kidney because you know why? Because he didn't want to miss games, so he took like Advil like he was like crazy. He even said that's the reason he destroyed his own kidneys. He said because he was a warrior. He didn't like missing games, so he was chowing on ibuprofen. That was before all the science came out.
So you're saying there needs to be an ibuprofen Hall of Fame?
I mean,
there might be. Hey, how about that? How about a CBD Hall of Fame?
Poster boy.
Shout out. What was that joint we just smoked?
Oh boy, this is gonna be a long day.
Shout out to what was the name of that joint?
Sour Diesel, Talking Trees.
Shout out to Talking Trees. If you listen to our show, sponsorship, come on our show.
So I found this article that was written where someone said if we just did NBA players and took their NBA career and they made a statistical thing that would basically imperialize players going into the Hall of Fame. And just to give you a quick background on who it is.
Bill James.
Bill James.
Yeah,
you guys know Bill James?
Yeah, he's a great statistician.
He's like the godfather of all the modern sabermetrics in baseball.
In baseball. He's more known for baseball, Moneyball, all that
so
stuff.
I should love him for his Basketball Hall of Fame, but hate him for ruining the game of baseball.
You can, yeah, you certainly can.
Every time I'm sitting at a game bored because nobody's stealing the base or even leading
Bill
off.
James.
Yeah, he's the foundation of Moneyball and all that
God
stuff.
damn it, Bill James. Hey. Bill James, great basketball standards. Great basketball standards.
But yeah, so anyway, what Aaron's holding, it's an interesting article where it basically spells out a way to give kind of a scoring system over the course of someone's career, giving points with certain minimum thresholds, 400 games played, and he gives kind of a cumulative score for players over their history, and he went through and ranked, based on this scoring system, the players that are already in the Hall of Fame.
Is it like WAR for basketball?
It seems a little unlike WAR, where there's always that like one stat that gets made up in somebody's head. Because WAR has this value that no one can define where it comes from, right?
It's more of a like quantitative career stat that's all rolled into one. So like any assist you had over 5 as an average, any games played you had over 400, everything was it's given a point. It's given a total. Any MVP you had, any title you had. So it's a scoring system.
Yeah. And it basically set a minimum, like you said. You had like 400 games, right?
Right.
Like, or else you get 0 points for that. Like, so you had to have a decently long career.
Yeah, and it was like a point scoring average under above 20. Assists above 5, rebounds above 5.
It took like the elite thresholds in different categories, and then kind of
it only gave points
quantifying
once they got over an average stat.
Yeah, and it has a limit, so you can't just be like Rodman where he just basically just rebounded.
Right, and it caps out.
It caps out after a while. So like while you were a proficient rebounder, you were shitty everywhere else. So
let's not go that far.
Well, he wasn't that far because he has the championships. He also
probably
points
in the Derek Fisher Hall of Fame.
He probably is.
He's a little better than Derek Fisher.
Derek Fisher
was a better player, but
active.
I mean, he was totally crazy, but great player.
But it just you get points for All-Star games you made, you get points for MVP and points for championships.
Right.
And so, look, this is part of my argument. Why doesn't Basketball Hall of Fame have better standards? And
but I don't think any Hall of Fame has any legitimate standard.
They're all different.
They're all different, but there's not like baseball doesn't have a standard. Like, oh, you get 3,000 hits, you're in. There's no standard.
No, there is no standard, but there's
magical numbers.
That's like a magical number that
there are some magical
we can start
numbers.
Thinking about this person.
It's true.
Right?
Basketball doesn't really have like a magical number in that sense.
And so that kind of gave that qualitative magical number. So for example, like let's take Bill Russell, just like rebounds, right? For rebounds, you were awarded a half a point per game for every rebounds over 5 rebounds a game, but the max you get is 10 points. So a player like Bill Russell, who averaged 22.5 rebounds in his career, you take away that 5 points, and then you divide it by the 0.5, so he was at 35, right? Mm-hmm. But there's a limit of 10, so he got 10 points. So that's a way of like, okay, you were the top rebounder, but without giving you more because you were the top rebounder. Yeah. But then he won 11 championships, which gave him 3 points per championship, but there's a cap on that 15, right? Yeah. So he didn't get 33. Now, where Cameron was arguing, it does make sense, is that Russell won 5 MVP awards, so he got 5 points per MVP, but you can only get, there's a limit of 15 points, so you can only get counted for 3.
I was arguing that the MVP should have no limit. If you're an MVP, you should be getting points for all of those.
That's true, because so basically with the way the scoring system works, you're basically fringe if you're around 40, right? You're fringe.
Right, 40 to 50 is like the low end Hall of Famers.
40, 50 points.
Kareem was the top at 95. Magic had 90. Bird 88, Jordan 87, Chamberlain 86, Russell 84.
Yeah.
Akeem Olajuwon was like at 86. David Robinson was at 75.
Yeah.
Malone 75. Now, the players who were still playing when he created this list was like Shaq, who was at 82. Allen Iverson was at 59. Jason Kidd 50. Because then came T-Mac and Grant Hill 47, 44.
So those are the borderline guys.
I would agree with that.
Right.
So borderline guys, you're in the 40s or 50s. Okay.
Rip Hamilton's 36.
So
which
like
doesn't belong to the Hall of Fame.
So those guys
make it with Chauncey Billups.
Those guys are all like one bright type players.
Well, Chauncey Billups made the Hall of Fame, I think.
Did he?
Yeah, last year I believe.
Jordan was 5-time MVP.
And he was 6 times champion.
6 times.
Right, but there's caps on both of those.
Well, those would have also they seem to have a decent effect on your score too, though. So maybe.
Yeah, he was still top 10 though.
Because some of those guys.
He was fourth.
Yeah, he was fourth. Wasn't he?
Because the guys that really like don't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, those extra titles if they're on those teams, and just because they won a lot of titles, like maybe.
But then
even
they
like
have no
Steve
individual
Kerr,
stats.
Like even like Steve Kerr, then you'd be like, oh, he's only getting all those points from the titles.
Like a Robert Horry, 5 titles.
But see now, Robert Horry might be somebody that those titles might help push him to that brink because he was a big part of all those titles.
He was a big part, but he didn't have the points or the rebounds.
No, but what I'm saying is that if he was able to have all those titles on his score,
he had big careers.
He had special moments to help win those titles, and he was a key component defensively.
He said he would trade them all in to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, Kerr hit some big shots, but Horry, I think, was by far way more impactful on his teams and what he meant to the teams than what Kerr was.
Yeah, that's probably true.
And because Horry, when Shaq was banged up or was in foul trouble, Horry was playing the center position. He would play power forward or center, stretch out, or he'd bang. He did a lot defensively. Like he was kind of like an Ophie, like
he was a really smart player, Jarrett, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, he was a very smart and very crafty and like just a very good player. Much respect.
Is
for
he a Hall of
Horry.
Famer though?
I think he's on the borderline. I would say potentially, yeah. I wouldn't be mad if he was a Hall of Famer.
Was he ever one of the top 5 power forwards in the league during his time?
I wouldn't. No. He probably wasn't in the top 5 in his conference.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He's not. So he's not a Hall of Famer then. Yeah. He had a nice career, but he's not a Hall of Famer.
I'm just saying. If he was in the Hall of Fame, I wouldn't be mad about it.
You know who career he reminds me of? Draymond Green.
Oh, you like Robert Horry? You think he's Draymond Green?
Their careers very similar. They're very.
What do you mean? Robert Horry hits a 3 every once in a while.
Okay, that's the difference. That's
Draymond Green. Draymond Green is
Green's the engine of the team.
Yeah, a big factor throughout every game.
He's been Draymond Green score. I added it up.
He's been a focal point.
Want to know what he got?
He did some math on it.
He did some math. Draymond Green's at 32.
Let's do that.
That's why I couldn't help you set up the
Let's do halfway through his career.
Give him like a
halfway
drum roll.
All right, hold on.
You have a drum roll on, Jarrett?
Yeah, here we go.
Like 5 minutes, we'll get it.
I think a lot of things in this world were only a dream for Martin Luther King. Not a 1-term, but a 2-term African-American president.
This is your drum roll.
I got interracial marriages. I go to a church that's an interracial church. Black head coaches. Black quarterbacks. When Martin Luther King that was just a dream.
So if you close your eyes, you would think it was Joe Biden at the Democratic debate. Was that Joe Biden saying that? Like, I mean, I was with two-time Obama.
I did that. No,
I did that.
I did that. Yeah, that's Biden saying I did that. I was there.
I was there. I was signing. I handed him the pen.
You guys like Obama? That's me.
I sincerely hope you guys did not watch any of that shitty debate. Anyways,
So drum roll. Draymond
that was your
Green.
drum roll. Go ahead.
Draymond Green. Now remember what we say, like
40.
40 is the cutoff kind of low.
For like the Rip Hamilton.
So Draymond Green's at 19.
It is hard to quantify, I think. Draymond Green's a really interesting player.
No,
it is hard to quantify his value to the team.
His value
There are
is
a lot of
probably
people.
high.
I talk to Warriors fans all the time who think he's more valuable to the team than like a Stephen Curry. Even.
Like, they're just
Because of his motor, his motivation, he drives the whole
I would
team
say
forward.
He's valuable with Curry. He's not valuable with more than. I think
Can you tell him about my analogy, or should I tell him the analogy that I came up with?
I think you should tell him the analogy because I'm gonna butcher it.
I always equated the Warriors the last few years as like a very like high class, well refined restaurant or recipe, like a food. I'm high right now. I'm sorry. Shout out sponsorship.
They do serve food at restaurants.
They say, all right, they're very like.
You said that was Sour Diesel again?
God damn. Hold on. Let me drink some coffee.
Sponsorship.
Shout out sponsorship. Shout out to Pete's Coffee. I need you to wake me up right now. All right, so
There's some coffee beer in there.
the Warriors were a gourmet.
Restaurant manager?
Here we go.
Draymond.
No, the Warriors were a gourmet
Busboy.
recipe and dish, right? That's what they are. They're a gourmet recipe and dish. The ingredients for what the Warriors have had the last 5 years have been the highest quality ingredients, right? And
You go salt and pepper on me?
and the recipe. And the recipe was like, was top notch, but the recipe was enhanced because of the products, right? The recipe was good, but the products made it even better. Draymond Green, if you were to choose what ingredient he is and whatever it is that you're making, he's a salt. He's a salt because he's the enhancer of the flavors, and that it's not the primary flavor though. You don't want to just salt something.
Just have salt.
You don't want to just have salt on one thing. You wanna, either you're gonna dice up some garlic, or you're gonna get some oregano, or you're gonna have different flavor complexes with good ingredients. It's gonna taste good. You add salt and it enhances those flavors. Draymond Green is the player that enhanced Steph Curry and Klay Thompson with his ability to grab the rebound and push the court and get them more spot-up shots and create those mismatches. And he also is a preservative. And in that way, the way he plays, he preserves Steph from having to handle the ball as much and be doing all the work with the ball in his hand. Same thing with Klay, and it allows Klay to play off the ball more because he has the ball in his hands. So he was an enhancer to both the two prime ingredients, and KD when he was here. And he helped sustain them because he would do a lot of that grunt work of getting it and pushing the pace. They could just run the lanes, run the wings. So Draymond Green is the salt of that fine gourmet meal or dinner.
So you're saying he was great at pushing, like transitioning the ball from defense to offense.
Yeah,
So he was like PK Subban before Lindsey Vonn.
What stats?
Now he can't transition anything.
What score do you give for defense?
See, there was none.
That's one of the
issues.
issues.
And he did write that. Like
You
That's
can't
one of the
quantify
issues.
D.
You can't quantify defense.
And that's
It's half.
I mean, he's got a defensive player of the year
It
and a
is-
runner-up the year before.
So maybe that's
Literally,
the best thing
yeah.
you could do is like go maybe a defensive team.
Or you do true shooting
Put some
efficiency
points.
of your opponents. Like you could
that's getting too
break down the
much.
stats. You could break down the stat. Dude, all these fake ass stats, and like, I'm gonna divide something by something else and then put it in a quotient, bracket it, and then I'm gonna make a
That's called
transverse matrix of it. Like, no, motherfucker, fuck, that's all bullshit. You gonna add, subtract, multiply, and divide. That's all you really gonna do, right? So give me something that we can actually quantify. You can quantify shooting percentages of opponents that they guarded one-on-one, and you can just say, hey, what is the true shooting percentage of his opponents that he was guarding? And when he was on the court, what was the offensive efficiency rating or something like that of the teams when they were playing against them? And those things will tell you a player's impact when they're on the court, off the court, just like a plus-minus in some ways. But probably even better than just a plus-minus, because plus-minus could be you just getting boat race one night, or one guy comes in where the other team like puts in all their scrubs and he balls out and has a better plus-minus.
It'd be pretty interesting if we got to a point, say 5 to 10 years from now, when Klay and Curry are shoe-in Hall of Famers, and there's Draymond sitting around.
He's gonna be a Hall of Famer.
I mean, it's an interesting question, but I think his reputation is pretty well known in terms of what he did for that 5-year run, and who knows what's going to happen beyond.
I agree.
But he's a very interesting case to talk about, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't disagree with that. That it's hard to quantify what his value is because he doesn't score. He does a lot of everything, but not anything amazing.
Nothing amazing.
I mean, the amazing thing that he does is off-ball defense.
Yeah.
Which you can't quantify.
Yeah.
No, you
I mean,
can't.
he helps everybody.
Yeah.
He makes every single player on the court better by being there, but not quantifiably.
Yeah.
See, he's like salt. I'm telling you, like.
I know, but you just got to cook with pork and you're good. KD, just the pork.
No, but that's the
KD
thing.
was pork.
It's like, but like
he came in and made Draymond.
Don't need no salt.
But right now, all the Warriors got is salt on the court, and it's not looking good, right?
It's too salty?
All I'm gonna say is this: I think salt is a Hall of Fame spice. So
Hall of Fame. Wow. What's the metrics on that?
It's got good longevity.
it's got good longevity.
It's been around.
You can get it from the ocean. You can get some Himalayan rock salt. Has a nice little pink coral flare in there. But yeah, what do you guys say? Draymond Green, Hall of Famer or not? At this point in his career,
No, for me.
I would say today, no, but I think by the end of his career, it'll be, yeah.
Are we doing by what basketball standards are now? Then yes, he is.
That's true.
Because he is breathing.
Yeah.
And he has dribbled the basketball at some point. In
He
his
went
life.
to several Final Four appearances as
Yes,
well.
yes.
Can't forget that with the
Yeah, he went.
Basketball Hall of Fame counts college.